Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Ali. I'm a junior doctor working in Cambridge, and this is the first in a new experimental series of videos. So this video is actually going to be about tips for university and just tips for life in general. And it's going to be about this idea of the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. If you're interested in skipping ahead, you can switch to this timestamp. But now I'm going to explain what this experiment is. And basically, I am going to be starting a podcast. And in that podcast, it's going to be me interviewing people that I know, friends of mine, other doctors, people from different professions, and asking them about kind of how they got where they are and their thoughts on things like, productivity, happiness, health, success, all of those sort of kind of nebulous life advice-y sort of topics. This is something I've been wanting to do for quite a while, so we're just going to try it out for a few episodes and effectively see how it goes, and if it goes well then I'll continue with it, and if not then, I'll reassess and evaluate. So a few months ago I sat down with a friend of mine called Parth G. He is also a YouTuber. He used to be a student at Cambridge University studying physics. He graduated around the same time as I did, and we sat down and made 2 podcast episodes, sort of. The first one was about like study tips, which is something that a lot of the audience of this channel is into. So that'll be over on his channel. I'll link that down below. That's like a long conversation between him and me where we exchange our tips for exams and revision and all of that sort of stuff. But then the second one we filmed was talking about stuff that we learned during our time at university, because I was on the verge of graduating from my 6 years of medicine. He was on the verge of graduating from his 4 years of physics. So we kind of had a conversation about this. Now this video is going to be about one of the things that we talked about, which was, as I said at the start, this idea of the growth mindset. And if you want to catch the full conversation, that'll be linked down below on the actual official podcast website. So far, we think we've got a name for the podcast. I'll tell you that at the end and kind of explain the rationale behind the name. But first, let's kind of cut to this clip of us talking about this idea of the growth mindset and how it's probably the single biggest tip I would give to anyone going into university to be able to cultivate this idea of a growth mindset. So here is me and Parth talking from about 7 weeks ago. Enjoy.
Fixed mindset would be the sort of people that struggle to answer questions in class because they don't want to look like an idiot.
Okay.
Growth mindset is more, I don't really care if I look like an idiot. The point is I'm learning something.
If you are trying to not answer questions in class because you want to look stupid, then I guess the best piece of advice that I would have for you is that you're doing yourself a disservice by not answering that question. This is why I used to have a few teachers in class who would be like, I don't care if your answer is wrong. I don't care if your question is stupid. If something doesn't make sense to you, then just ask. And people would, because at that point the teacher made the students comfortable that regardless of whatever they said, even if the answer was like 15 and they said something like George Washington, there was a sense of, or there was a culture of other students wouldn't laugh at you because they realized that the teacher was not going to stand for that.
Yeah.
Right? Stupid answers are fine. There's nothing wrong with being wrong.
Yeah.
And I am wrong about 80% of the time when it comes to physics, and I'm doing a physics degree, right?
Yeah.
So get used to the idea of being wrong. Wrong doesn't make you less smart. Wrong makes you learn more. Wrong makes you grow, and I guess that's what it comes back to. Is the growth mindset.
Yeah.
So how do you explain to somebody who's really, really struggling with the idea of being wrong, that it's okay to be wrong? How would you put it into words?
So I've got a friend who had this exact thing, and every now and then we have sessions in the dissection room.
Yeah.
Where you get a group of sort of like 8 of you around a body or around like a bit of body,
Mm-hmm.
and you get a demonstrator who's kind of asking you questions and things.
Yeah.
And this friend was saying that, I really don't want to be asking any questions.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Yeah.
And she was like, because I'm going to look like an idiot if it's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, and then I was like, okay, and like I think I said a few things which like later on she said that that helped, and then she actually started answering questions and that.
Yeah.
And the advice that I would give to people in that position is firstly, imagine yourself in the demonstrator's position.
Right.
Let's say you were running a session for people that were like 5 years younger than you. They're going through medical school. You're teaching them something.
Yeah.
If you ask them a question and one of them got something wrong.
Yeah.
Would you really think badly of them, or would you just kind of, in a way, you'd kind of appreciate the opportunity to get to teach them?
Yeah.
Whereas if everyone in your group was getting every single thing right, you'd think, oh, why am I here? And you'd feel bad in yourself for not doing that.
Yeah.
So kind of putting yourself in the shoes of the teacher and realizing that if you were a teacher,
yeah,
you would not think any less of a student for getting a question wrong.
Yeah.
In fact, you'd almost appreciate it because it gives you the chance to teach them.
That's a really good point.
And the second point that I said is that, let's say I'm in a group, so let's say you're in a group,
mm-hmm.
and someone else gets a question wrong.
Yeah.
You probably don't think any less of that person. You're probably too busy trying to work out the answer to the question. You do not care.
Yeah.
You do not give a shit that
Yeah.
person got the question wrong. No one really cares.
Yeah.
No one cares about what you do. No one cares that you got a question wrong. It's just all in your own head. And I find like I need to remind myself of this as well, like especially when like starting YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
I was so worried what people were going to think. And then after a while I realized that actually no one cares. Yeah. Everyone is so busy living their own lives. Everyone's got their own stuff going on. No one gives a toss of what you're doing for your free time. Yeah. And that's such a liberating thing. And now when I'm answering questions in class, I realize no one cares.
Yeah.
If I get the question wrong, it's good for my own learning. If I get it wrong, chances are probably someone else was thinking the wrong thing as well. That's good for their learning.
Yeah.
It's just the most liberating thing ever. So that's like the advice I would give.
Yeah. You're not going to think any less of anybody to get it wrong. And if you do, then realize that that's a problem that you've got and you need to fix that, because people are wrong all the time. Not everybody goes through life being a genius and being correct every single time. Even Einstein was wrong about something.
So yeah, that's growth mindset versus fixed mindset. And the first time I came across this whole concept, it completely blew my mind because I didn't realize there was like a name for it. And I feel that with stuff like this, once you put a label on it, it becomes a lot easier to kind of internalize it, to apply it to our own lives. And this growth mindset stuff is probably the single biggest thing that I think has impacted my life in terms of kind of allowing me to do all of the various things that I do, because I always come at it from a perspective of growth mindset rather than if I get criticism, then I almost never take it personally or kind of think that it reflects badly on me. I just think, this is all part of the learning experience, it's all part of growing. So kind of this whole new experiment with starting this podcast is also an experiment with the growth mindset. So when I started this YouTube channel just over a year ago, again, this growth mindset was involved. It was like me thinking that, right, I know the first 50 videos are going to be terrible, but that's fine. I'm going to make them anyway. And I know my own skills are going to improve. This podcast is sort of like that. I'm intending to have these conversations with various friends of mine, people that I know. And the idea is that, the full long form conversation will be available in the podcast on podcast format, so you can listen to it wherever you like if you're into that sort of thing. But if we come across kind of like 2-minute segments where we're talking about something that's particularly interesting or relevant to a lot of people, I think those would be cool to kind of make a YouTube video out of. Now, what's the name of this podcast? Basically, the name of the podcast is gonna be Intercourse. So the website is intercourse.fm, and you might know that intercourse means an exchange of ideas or kind of conversations, kind of this like socially sort of stuff. So that's why the podcast is going to be called Intercourse, and it's going to be hosted at intercourse.fm, so you can check out the episodes for that if you like. So I've kind of rambled on a bit about this. Hopefully this video was vaguely interesting about this whole growth mindset stuff if you haven't come across it before. I'll put some links in the description to some more reading about that if you're interested. And if you're interested in study tips, you should definitely check out Parth's channel. He and I have done this little collaboration video on there where we talk about how to study for exams effectively. And he also makes vlogs about physics and physicsy sort of stuff. And he's quite cool because he's also got this like passion for music, and his selling point, as it were, is that all of the music on his videos is entirely self-produced. So at some point when he comes and visits Cambridge, I want to get some more lessons from him on how to do this whole music production vibe. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Starting a new podcast. It's going to be called Intercourse. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so, and have a look at Parth's channel as well. It'll be linked down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, maybe even the next episode of Intercourse. Goodbye.